Welcome back to the Developer Show. I cannot believe it is already December and like the entire year has flown by and like that end of the year always gives me all of the feels. Colleen, this is our 7th episode, and as always, we've got a lot prepared today. And I'd like to introduce my new co-host, Colleen, also a dev advocate at GitLab.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me. I'm thrilled to be here today. And I can't believe how it's December. How is it December?
Somehow it's December.
Okay, I think I just started writing 2025 down when I had to write a date like maybe 3 months ago, and now I have to change it again? That is unfair.
That is a little bit unfair, and soon we will have to start writing 2026.
Yeah, 2026.
So in today's live stream, we're going to cover the 18.7 release that dropped yesterday with Duo Analytics Dashboard, improved secret validity checks, model selection for chats, and a lot more things. We'll also talk about a few of our foundational agents and custom flows that are part of Duo Agent platform beta. And we have a special guest. I invited a friend, Andrew Zigler from LinearB. He will chat with Colleen and I about like where the market is moving, what it's like working with AI tools, the evolution of DevRel given AI tools, and then we'll jump into, drumroll, some live coding.
Woo! Let's get started.
Awesome. All right, let's start with the release notes. Let me start screen sharing. There are way too many things on my screen. There you go.
Story of my life. I have so many tabs open.
Someone in the comments said that until last month, they were working on, for some reason, I can't share my screen. Trying to share screen. No, producers, I am unable to share screen. So maybe we just talk through the GitLab 18.7 release.
Yes. So this release is laying the groundwork for a very big milestone that's coming in January. That's right. GitLab Duo Agent Platform is going GA in 18.8.
So a lot of the things in the release are meant for setting things up so that we can go GA and allow people to start using that agent platform features. So you may have all seen from the last release, the foundational agents. We've been working with some of them more recently, right, Colleen?
Yes, we have.
Looks like our producer is sharing.
Did we get the screen share
for us?
We got the screen share. Amazing.
For some reason,
18.7's got, as you can see right here,
we've got Duo Analytics Dashboard. We've got secret validity checks. Let's scroll down to that notable contributor first.
Yes, this month's notable contributor is David Anebo.
David, thanks for your work.
Yes, thank you so much, David.
Yeah, so David has been working on improving the user experience for planning features. So we really appreciate your contributions. Congratulations. The other screen that I wanted to share was the blog post that we did for this release. I think what's happening is that my computer is not letting me click on anything today.
Oh. Yeah, computer overlords are mad at you.
I'm having a computer issue. Producers, could you please share the screen that has the, I feel like I'm talking to like an AI in the back end somewhere. Could you share the screen with the release blog post with the Duo Agent platform features? Perfect, there it is. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about some of the features that are currently in beta, but then we'll move into GA. For example, custom flows. This one's really exciting because you can use custom flows to do a lot of manual, to automate a lot of the manual things that you might already be doing. Like maybe you want to run code reviews on your merge requests based on your team's coding standards. So you can set up a custom flow where you can tag the agent on your merge request, and it already has the system prompt that includes the instructions for your coding standards, and then it'll run through the merge request and review the code, a good first pass, just to catch all of the things that you and your team doesn't have to spend a lot of time on.
Amazing. It's a huge time saver overall.
Yeah. Some other flows that we've heard about is like running policy checks. So if you're like in an environment that requires a lot of compliance, and you have those things set up, it's kind of like really good for those first passes, and then sort of really good for handling tasks that you know that you always run as a part of a team or as a part of your workflow. So I really like custom agents and flows. I was doing a demo with a customer earlier this week, and they were telling me like, we're really excited about like taking our business requirements and turning them into epics and issues and milestones, and then like having an agent like draft those issues. And I was like, that can be a flow. And so like it was a really great conversation.
Oh my God, that sounds fantastic. What else do we have?
We've got the SAST, false positive detection flow. So one of the sort of things we hear from a lot of teams is that they're overwhelmed with a lot of the security vulnerabilities in their vulnerability report. And so now you can use GitLab's AI to help identify which findings are false positives earlier in your review process. So instead of having your security engineers spend a lot of time reviewing the vulnerability, figuring out, when it's a risk, like how to remediate it, or like what sort of situation in which this vulnerability exists, you can have the AI sort of flag those for you and review them earlier. And then you can also dismiss those vulnerabilities because you've looked at the report and you know that this thing is unlikely to happen or is a false positive. And so I think this was something that our customers are asking for. So we're like really excited to have that go out. It's currently still in beta, but with 18.8, it will go GA. And then we've got custom agent versioning, which is great. Like as you're working on these custom agents, maybe you're publishing them to the AI catalog. You can continue to version the different agents and like pin them for your team. So maybe you're testing out like a new prompt and you want to see how the agent reviews code with a certain structure of prompt and then with another one. And sort of that allows you to do some like A/B testing for agents. So I think that's cool too.
That is very cool.
And then the last thing I wanted to go over is the data analyst agent. So we've gone over on the last episode the foundational agent, which the foundational agents that we're releasing, they're like GitLab maintained agents in the catalog, like Planner. I think Colleen, you've used Planner, right, to like work on milestones and issues.
Oh, Planner has saved my life so many times.
That's a Planner commercial.
I'm living in an infomercial for Planner. Before Planner, my life was hectic. And now this area of my life is not.
So yeah, Planner is great. And then we have the agentic chat, which is the general purpose agent. And then we have, what's the other one? Why am I forgetting? The security analyst agent,
yes,
the one that helps you triage vulnerabilities. And now we have the data analyst agent. This is great for teams that have like a volume of issues. I think
many.
John, our manager, has been using this. Do you know those issues where, so remember like a few weeks ago, he posted an issue where he like pulled all of our issues that we were working on, and it was like quarterly report, and then it would just had all of our issues in it. It was like a GLQL table. I strongly suspect that he used the data analyst agent to just take a look at like all open issues with due dates in December and with assignees, like give me a table and create an issue. I like highly suspect.
I think he did, because I think he did that also for, remember when he asked for if anyone had ideas for demos and then made an issue for every single idea?
Yes.
Even, and I'm going to say, I had some stinkers that I commented and they became ideas, or they became issues. And you know what? They were issues. So I am certain
been,
that he was using it.
One user of agents.
Yeah.
So.
Power user.
And then the last thing we wanted to announce to our audience is to mark your calendars for February 10th. What's a 10th?
February 10th.
Which is 2026, which is our Transcend event. Producer, could you please pull up the Transcend event page?
GitLab Transcend.
Transcend. We're hosting this global launch event to share our product vision for the year ahead. You'll get to see where we're taking GitLab, the intelligent orchestration platform, how we're going to make it easier for your teams to stay in flow, use those agents and flows across the entire software development lifecycle. I'm really excited about this. I think there's going to be events in different cities. And so maybe you'll get to meet me at a GitLab event.
I'm very excited too. it should be really cool because we've been working on a lot of stuff, and a lot of it we've told you about, but there's also things that are yet to come that we are very, very excited about. So we can't wait to share that with everyone and share our plans for the future.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jill, our producer, for pulling up those screens for me. I'm going to have to figure out what's going on because I do need to share screen for the code, but we'll get back to that in a bit.
Oh, yeah.
The moment that I think all of our audience has been waiting for, please welcome our special guest, Andrew Zigler, Senior Developer Advocate and podcast host at LinearB, to the Developer Show.
Y'all are really, really amping me up here. I'm happy to be here. It's been exciting to be behind the scenes. I've been taking notes of everything. So
we are thrilled to have you. Taking notes?
Taking notes.
Okay.
Taking notes.
I think he's got both of us be
the notes
false
about
flag,
what?
Like the false identification thing I thought was pretty cool. I'm gonna go check it out.
Ooh.
The false positives. Yeah, honestly, that has definitely been one of those things where like teams feel like to improve their security posture. Like you don't want to see a vulnerability report with like hundreds of vulnerabilities. And
no, that's the biggest problem right now. And these, I think, around vulnerabilities and like for cybersecurity in general, is you get a flood on both sides. On the vulnerability side from all the AI generated code, but then also on the trying to enforce it, fix it, CVE side, because there's so much CVE spam now from like all sorts of tools.
Yeah.
So.
Which is why we think the security analyst agent is great. And maybe we can use it later. Like the contributors garden doesn't necessarily have vulnerabilities. Hopefully
we'll put a bouncer. We'll put a bouncer on the garden.
But it can help you figure out like, is this CVE important? Like where and when will this be a risk for me? Like how can I remediate this? And so like it's very helpful to sort of identify that. But I think the false positives is a step ahead of that, where it's saving you even the time to discuss with the agent, which I feel like is also worth
from breaking down, right? I think that's the real core problem. Trust fails, and then no one trusts the tool anymore.
Yeah. And it's an interesting thing because as soon as you lose the trust, it's so hard to get it back. And I feel that many, many times when I'm so judgmental when it comes to companies. If they lose my trust, I don't know if I'll go back.
There's a lot of companies out there. So it's like, it's not always necessarily worth entertaining a second opportunity for a company if you could go to a competitor or something that's just as close. So
yeah.
Speaking of competitors, not competitors specifically, but speaking of companies in general, like Andrew, we didn't give you a chance to give a real introduction. So like, what is it that you do at LinearB?
Yeah, who are you?
Yes, I'll introduce myself. So my name is Andrew Zigler. I'm the developer advocate at LinearB. LinearB is an AI productivity platform for software engineering teams. We help you connect your AI adoption and impact with real results within your company's goals. And as well, on top of that, we have AI automations, tooling in place for people to get more out of their entire code delivery process, because code generation is more than just generating code. There's also reviewing it and getting it out to production, keeping it from falling over. So and I'm also the host of Dev Interrupted. It's a podcast for software engineering leaders, and every Tuesday I sit down with some really amazing folks from some really like impactful companies right now
over
in
my
tech.
entire LinkedIn feed.
Yes. And if you follow me on LinkedIn, you won't miss out, because I post clips and insights and deep dives into all this stuff all the time. In fact, I would say most of my time is spent building and growing the Dev Interrupted community. So you can find me there. And that's a little bit about what I do. And Fatima and I have known each other for many years. So
yeah, no,
I'm
we go
to
way
finally
back.
be on production.
Hey, to be fair, you invited me first, and then I was like, "Oh, this is transactional
that's true.
now. I need
Fatima
to get
was
on the show."
a guest. Fatima was a guest news host on Dev Interrupted with me a few months ago. We covered even a GitLab.
We did. We
survey.
covered the C-suite executive report and what people are seeing with AI. It was quite an interesting conversation. It's funny because last 2 weeks ago, we were like, what friendly should we bring onto the dev show for live coding? And I was like, immediately, I know the person that I think would, like, not only would it end the year on a really good note, but I think that I also wanted to pick your brain a little bit on like what you've learned on Dev Interrupted throughout the year, and sort of thinking about where the market goes, and like AI and DevRel. And so like, that I thought that would be a great conversation, and you know, I love
Totally.
Colleen, and I thought Colleen might have some great questions for you as well.
Great, let's do it.
All right. What was yeah, so tell us some things that you've heard interviewing these engineering leaders, and how they're using AI, both internally and externally, and then maybe we can tell you how we're using AI internally.
Yeah, I'd love to learn a little more about GitLab's own usages too. Just from my own conversations with other folks, it really comes down to a kind of like a quadrant, right? You have both internal and external applications of AI. You have teams that jump on AI and productize it and build it into their services and what they have. You have other teams that use AI as a catalyst or a transformer to enable their teams internally. And whether that's by adding workflows or by increasing code output, is otherwise augmenting something that's already there. So you have like teams that kind of tackle and use AI and see different potential in it based upon how they already fit in the market. And then so that's like kind of like one direction on like this axis, right? And then the other direction on the axis is about their awareness of like the gains of that AI. So many folks they productize it, and you know, we're still in that experimentation age. I think that's what this last year was for a lot of us. Like my toolkit has totally changed. I don't know about y'all, but I write code totally differently than I did a year ago.
Yeah.
And so everyone, I think, is still adjusting to that, and
Yeah.
tools are growing and taking new forms. And so we're not seeing a lot of like huge gains yet, right? But I think we're going to get there. Eventually, once people can get more understanding on this axis of like, what is my impact of AI? Are we using AI correct, like to the best that we can? Are we understanding its impact? And are we tying it back to our goals? That is really, I think, what's ahead of us next year for sure, based upon my conversations last year. Because like this year, everyone's like vacuuming up tools. Like let's get as many tools as possible. Let's just trial them all out. Oh, I picked up 1,000 licenses of this coding assistant tool. Everyone just roll it out and use it. And we're at the end of the year, and we still don't really know
what did that tool help us achieve, and
did
that's
that
not something
tool
we can put numbers on.
exactly.
Are
And how
there
does it tie back to things? So, what do y'all think about that?
Yeah. Well, one question I actually had for you, I say sidestepping your question really elegantly.
We do a lot of sidestepping on this show.
Brilliant. I'm gonna come back to you. I'm a pro with
I
this.
don't think anyone noticed. So one question I do have is, are there any use cases of AI you've seen that are disproportionately impactful? For instance, I've seen a lot of people write better tests because of AI, or do things that developers tend to hate doing. Are there things like that that are just so impactful? Yes.
Fatima's got her hand up.
Fatima, if you're...
let me know. Tell me.
I don't know. We usually have to raise our hands here.
I've been using AI a lot. Like I've been using Duo Chat within the platform to like write better issue descriptions. But I do find that if my prompts are not detailed enough, I get like an 85-page issue description with like a bunch of assumptions that I didn't want. And so I would say that like if I were to then assign that to you, Colleen, you would kind of be like, what? Like, why did you give me a thesis paper for like, and maybe the description was something simple like, I have an idea for writing a blog post about this custom agent that does this. And then, it'll extrapolate that in 1,000 different ways and sort of put it together. And because maybe, my prompt wasn't specific enough in the tone and style and content type that I wanted, it might even give you a bunch of code that you don't need. And so I think like, then assigning that to a teammate without any like actual context or without any like editing of that, like it creates this new sort of culture of like, I wrote a bunch of slop and I passed it off to you. And so I think like being more cautious about your prompts will mitigate that. But I do think the like creation of text is the generative part is still a little disproportionate in some ways. Like it almost makes me feel less productive because then I have to be like, I asked this stupid question and I need to like fix my prompt, which is fine. I'll just like iterate on the prompt step by step. But that was something that like I spent all year refining my ability to ask for what exactly I need, plus a little bit of extra stuff that I may have missed without like letting it get biased in some one direction, letting it like not tell me information that I don't know because it thinks that I don't want that information, and then like letting it just give me stuff that feels fluffy. And so like generative text for issues, especially technical implementation, disproportionate. Final answer.
Yeah, no,
All right.
Colleen, I want to answer your question, but Fatima, I want to address that heads on first because I want to say too, it's
Sure.
about you know, I feel that same way about like having to be very careful and curating about your prompts, and it's actually really funny because it's about being really explicit about what you want, but while still being really terse, and stripping out the things that you don't need. Because like what you just said, like if you end up with this like slop of code, these extra things you don't need, you ship it, you put it into things, if it creates more confusion later
Someone
on.
has to maintain
So
it. Yeah.
like the smaller bites and the smaller levels that you can work on, like context ultimately is just, you know, it's just markdown. It can just be markdown, right? So think in building blocks is kind of how like I've approached it. But Colleen, to your question about like ways that developers have used AI this year to like get gains and like their preferences in using it, I definitely think like root things like tests and stuff are always going to be like first to go, like get automated. You're going to also see people having AI agents that are scanning for like baseline updates to packages and dependencies, and then another AI review agent auto merging it, right? Because like that's such a low risk
human in the loop.
Human in the loop.
But there's different, not all code is the same, and especially now there's a gradient, right? So it's like some code, depending on your company and your tech stack and your risk profile, there is probably a band of PR or like merge requests, right, where that would happen. But you know, Colleen, too, I also think that it's a really great way to use AI because you're closing the loop. When you're using it to write tests, you have the code that you've written or the code that you want to write if you're doing, you know, TDD. And then you have like how the test should pass. And so basically it's like getting that middle part of like writing a test that uses this code to pass this thing is actually really easy for the LLM to use. You're actually giving it like a super easy task, right? So I think that's the power of using it that way.
I'm still here. Sorry, my camera decided to let me down today.
Fatima,
Did you offend the computer gods?
Do you want to refresh like and then pop back in?
Yeah, I'll pop back in. Why don't you keep chatting and I'll deal with my technical issues.
Well, you're gonna miss our tap dance show, but
oh wait, I didn't get tap shoes.
They didn't send you the GitLab tap shoes for the.
They didn't send me the GitLab tap shoes. I hope they look like Tanuki paws.
I get
to and now you're on the other side of the screen.
I love this. I'm like Alice in the Brady Bunch. I love this.
Oh yeah. You know, I don't know if anyone noticed, but earlier I was much taller than all of you, so I just slowly brought myself shorter.
Is that what happened? That's funny. I'm standing. I'm at a standing desk, so I could.
I am at a sitting desk.
I am too.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, to our audience, I think we've lost the plot here. So let's get back to it.
So the other thing that we wanted to talk about is like you've already mentioned a little bit about toolkits, but I wanted to chat about like working with AI tools and like, you know, one thing that we like to say at GitLab is, you know, people are really worried that AI is going to replace developers. This conversation is starting to get, you know, I'm acknowledging the pain point, but I also think that it's a bit of an overused statement. And here we feel really strongly that AI is meant to augment a developer, and it's very important for you to continue to develop your skill set and your critical thinking. And, you know, Kelsey said this earlier to us in a previous episode, which was like develop your brain and the model for your brain. Kelsey Hightower, and then like use the AI tools in order to further your knowledge and your ability. But like the key component here is the one in here. And so like I'd love to hear how you've been thinking about that and how you've been thinking about what skills are you developing while you're also taking advantage of these tools.
I love that as a framing because yes, this year has been a year of skill evolution, of growth, of being curious and trying new things. I think it has had to be for everybody, right? And I myself have like had a lot of really great like experiences this year experimenting with new tools. But I think that ultimately the new skills that are emerging that are important for developers revolve around communication, and it revolves it's still very technical, and it's still you're benefiting from all of those years of experience that you have understanding your code and your domain and your expertise. But now it's like you've been promoted from an action doer to a decision manager overnight. So you have to think about all of the intentions and the actions you do as an IC, almost as if you're delegating other ICs to do it. So to put the responsibility on all ICs to suddenly be managers is huge, right? I think that's a big responsibility. So the skills that I think are most important for engineers and for all developers right now are to improve your manager skills, your communication skills, your organization skills, because the smarter and more organized you work, the more your work compounds. And, you know, Fatima, I know you know this very well. Colleen, you probably do too, as we're all DevRel professionals. And there's a thing in DevRel known as like turkey carving, or like you go and you give the talk at the conference, and then you turn that talk into an article for your blog, and then you make a video about it, and then you turn it into a learning course, and then you put it in like an online academy, and then you make it into social clips, and then it's on YouTube Shorts, and then it's like, you know, like you turn that one piece of output into a bunch of stuff. So I think the skills that are enabling developers right now revolve around setting your output up to be input for other things.
Okay. What are some things that you personally have done to retain critical thinking skills and avoid, I've heard a lot of people call it smooth brain from the AI.
Yeah.
Never thought we'd say brain rot on this show.
So it makes me think of like
I did
Simpson.
I said smooth brain.
You know, like Homer Simpson with the little bird that goes and it just like dunks and it hits the enter key over and over again, and then eventually, okay, great, you get it. So then eventually, right, like the nuclear reactor is going to explode. That's what happens because he just keeps hitting enter. So I love that, and I love that analogy. And so, like, yeah, the smooth brainness of like not looking at anything critically is, I think it's actually like a false terror, because I think that AI enables you to be more creative and curious about the things you are exploring. And if you're brand new to developing and programming kind of developer, and you're learning and experimenting with AI tools, and they're generating tons of code that you're not really fully looking at and not fully understanding, guess what? We are too. Software engineers who've been doing this for a decade plus are generating and looking at this code in the same exact way and throwing away a lot of it, right? And then rewriting it. And it ultimately comes down to like, I'm trying to think of like I've lost my total train of thought. Oh my god.
No. It's okay.
It comes down to the same thing, right? Like we've also been figuring it out as we go, and then now there's a new way to sort of communicate
there's like a new skill set to grow. So if you're a new developer, I think that being curious and using AI and asking questions to AI about what it is getting thrown at you is a huge opportunity, because that's how all the rest of us learned, except we had to do these like crazy weird Google searches and crawl through Stack Overflow
and get downvoted
and join way too many weird Discord channels that now just hang out on your sidebar because you had one random question about one random JavaScript library in 2017. Like that was how we learned to be developers.
In this video and I don't like it.
and so now you have the opportunity of turning AI into like your own personal like teaching assistant on anything you download. I grab projects all the time now and we'll clone them locally and then just open it up and just ask AI like, what does this do? Or like, how does this work? Or and things like that. If I wanted to replace this with this, like, how could I do it? And I actually learn a lot faster. So I think that the idea of it making you like super smooth brained is like, I don't think every developer shows out to be a developer because they want to be a great developer. They want to make cool software that changes people's lives and is interesting. No one wants to be the Homer Simpson bird enter.
No. And you know, one thing that I've found that, because I do that too, where I have it teach me how to do things, you can at the end have it quiz you. And see if you're
or I have it just like ask questions and see if you really understand it. And you have to answer it back. It's like, absolutely.
Exactly. So I think those are all the questions that we had for you right now. But so we'd like to open it up to, oh, thank you. But you know who also probably has some great questions?
Some of our
live audience. Yeah.
While we wait for the audience to put in their questions because there is a slight, like, as we stream delay, so they won't hear this.
Incredible.
While we're waiting, I wanted to say hi to Jishnu. Jishnu is one of our engineers at UBS. We met earlier this week, and he kindly started sharing all of the links to the things that we were looking at that Jill, the producer, was pulling up for us. So that
I
was
love that.
Thank you.
Jishnu.
Thank you, Jishnu.
We did get one question earlier. It's not specifically for Andrew, but maybe we can pull up that question.
Why is Golang
growing
so much in GitLab?
That
Golang is a great language.
You know, when I first saw that question, I was thinking because one of my teammates loves Golang. I don't know that that's
that's
an official answer. Yeah. I think, you know, this isn't an answer to your question specifically, but we do think that, like, we as a platform are trying to be open to all tools. And so, like, as your AI tools and the languages that you use continue to change, and as we saw in this year, like Andrew said earlier, just vacuuming up all of the AI tools. And so what I think what's going to happen over the next few years is, like, the tools that you are using are going to appear and disappear, and new tools are going to show up. And GitLab really wants to be the platform that provides you the context of the projects and your code and everything, and allows you to integrate different tools as they come and go. And so, like, that's who we want to be moving forward. And so we love Golang. I don't particularly know any Golang, but I'm glad that
I've used it a bit, and I think one of the other reasons is simply it's fun. It's fun to build with. It's usable. There's good documentation.
Golang is very dependable. Golang is a great language to build things upon.
Great. Well, I guess, you know, not an exact answer to the question, but an answer nonetheless. Since we're not getting a question, I did have one more question for you, Andrew.
Ooh.
And then if we do get an audience question, we'll switch over to that. So if you're listening and you have questions for Andrew, feel free to drop them in the chat on whatever platform that you're watching. So we talked about, like, how roles evolved, and we talked about how learning evolves as software engineers. And something that you mentioned in our prep call was, like, the role of DevRel has also sort of evolved thanks to the use of AI. And I think that is interesting, and sort of, like, how have you seen that evolve, and what are the sort of new ways that you think we're going to continue to evolve in DevRel?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think DevRel has evolved a lot because in DevRel, what do we do? You know, we solve problems with communication. And so now you can communicate problems into code. So when you connect those two things together, you can solve problems with code in DevRel now in really unique ways that you couldn't before, that before would be too costly. And so I think there's, like, a new paradigm on how you calculate, how do I spend my time? How can I get the most out of this project? And going back to what I said earlier, how can I do something that is going to set me up for more success and more output and better things later on, right? And so because of that, I think you have to kind of, like, just recalculate how you approach everything and how you do tasks. And so I guess all I'm calling out is, like, if you're in a role and you don't feel like things have changed, like, definitely revisit the kind of tasks that you do, because, like, the math has changed on how you can get stuff done. Things about before were very expensive and time consuming are now very cheap and quick to do. And before you had to think about maintaining something in a way that is not a question anymore in many different levels. So I think the math has fundamentally changed on the kind of output we can have as DevRel. And I think that goes the same for a lot of roles.
Yeah. Especially one thing that I've noticed is with demos. Oh, you can make some fun demos.
Oh, yes.
And make different permutations of them now. So much quicker.
Demos are easy. Demos before they were kind of had tricks to them, right? To put the right gloss on them. But now demos are so easy. And it's
I wouldn't go that far.
They're easy.
I don't know, Andrew.
I know hardware demos.
Demos are fundamentally easier than they were before.
Demos are fundamentally easier to script and maybe edit and maybe record. But I will say AI is fundamentally hard to demo.
Oh yes.
So like
demo
like
Oh,
and
yeah.
demoing an AI chat,
demoing a
generative AI.
non-deterministic system.
What we're about to do
Yeah.
with like jumping in
Right.
and doing AI generated code, we don't actually know what it's going to throw back at us based on our ideas, because you know what we're going to do? We're going to all three be managers of a team. You know, our IC is going to be on Fatima's computer.
All right. Well, since you have teed us up and I don't see any
We can
I
come back
see
if there's ones later.
yeah, I
We're
don't see
hanging
any
out.
questions. So if you have questions throughout, feel free to ask us. Let's move into my scariest part, which is the code. Let's start by showing you, I'll show you the repository, and then I'll show you the project as it is live, and then we'll talk through what we want to build today. And so this is the repository for the contributors garden. Let me adjust that screen. That's a really funny size. Oh, okay. Maybe I'll have to reshare the screen. Do 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 do. Ta-da!
That's better.
Is it? There's like a
Oh.
lot of
Do you want to
like.
zoom in a little bit?
Yeah,
it's
I'll
a little
zoom in
small, but
a lot bit. Here we go. Yeah, you know, we're not getting any younger. We
Speak
have
for
a question
yourself.
on YouTube about what is this about? We're about to do some live coding with the GitLab Duo agent platform, which is currently in beta. So the contributors garden is actually something that you know, a few episodes ago we were like, should we live code on the show? And people were like, yes. And we were like, okay, well, what should we build? And so we gave them like 3 ideas, and one of them was this art garden that we collaborate on. And I think the idea was eventually to be pulling some sort of contributor data from GitLab. But as of right now, we spent one episode sort of planning the project, and we used one of our agents to plan out like what we should do in the episode. And the planner agent actually built me this like episode guide. And according to the episode guide that was built for me, again, like you said, demos are becoming easier. Today we're supposed to work on multiple species of trees, but that's just a suggestion. If we don't want to work on tree selector, we don't have to. Let me show you what the project currently looks like. So this is the contributors garden. Let me switch my screen share over. Ta-da! And so it's this cute little pixel art thing, and it's got a little window. This is all vanilla JavaScript with some canvas CSS, and you can like plant little trees. I feel like trees, you shouldn't be able to plant trees so high off the ground, but we'll have to figure out why.
I love the floating trees. The floating trees.
The only features we currently have is like plant a new tree and it'll randomly plant, or you can like click on the canvas. You can clear out the garden, and it has this little like counter for what. So it's very simple. In the last couple episodes, we sort of vibe engineered this with some very carefully crafted prompts. And then we did the like planning of like future episodes, because I was really like, I don't know what we want to build. So today I would love to like build something together. Let me switch over to my IDE, and maybe in the meantime, you can share some ideas. And so here
what
is
if we
our
made trees out of clouds because they're floating? Or, I feel like
let me give you a walkthrough.
Contributors garden should have, because trees aren't the first thing I think of when I think of a garden.
I think of flowers.
I think of flowers or vegetables.
Flowers. So, okay, let me give you a quick overview. So we have basically all of the stuff is, the index.html is very plain. As you can see, it sort of sets up the garden canvas, which is run by the garden.js file. And this is all vanilla JavaScript. So I think one thing that we could potentially do in a future episode is offload some of this like manually written vanilla JavaScript to like a library that's good at pixel art. But at the time, this is what like Duo and I came up with. And so you're like drawing the background, and then you're drawing the clouds, and then you can draw like the sun, and then planting the tree is done with like CSS canvas animations. And so it's like a very I don't want to call it brute force, but it is a very manually created animated situation where we're literally filling the CSS styles on the screen as they happen, which is why I think it works really fast too, because there isn't any real like jQuery animation or anything.
I was gonna say, what's the dependencies like in the package JSON? Are there any dependencies? Like, no. The website. So cool.
I think the only reason .env is in there is because it's a Python project, and then Express was in there because I was like, we probably want to have an API architecture for future improvements. And so that must have been in my original prompt, but really there are no dependencies at this time. So this is like open to anything and everything. So like if we wanted to like vibe engineer some, I don't know, flowers, that could be a cool thing to do today. If you know, I know Andrew, you had some ideas about like pulling in data from places. We could do that today. And so we have around 30 minutes, 20 minutes. And so let's also like scope the work that we want to do, because I would love to get a thing done and deployed today. Yeah. And so part of this is the issue, right? Like when you're working with agentic AI, you're like, well, I have all these ideas and I don't know where to begin.
Yeah, it makes you kind of want to just like jump into it. Like it's very tempting at this stage of being like, I want to add flowers, and then you go to the chat panel.
Like 3 hours later, you've added 3,000 things. Well, you know, we could just add.
Maybe we could.
Well,
what if
I have a quick question?
I have an idea.
Were you explicit in your prompt that you didn't want dependencies, that you wanted it to be vanilla? I love that. That's great.
Because
that's a
what
smart
happens
idea.
to me
Because otherwise, it definitely would have picked
Yes.
up. Yeah, it would have thrown you in React, probably put you in Vite, probably use like some canvas library. I don't even know which one it would have picked for you, to be honest.
Can we add flower? Okay, how would I write that? Now I kind of want to add flowers.
Well, let's establish like
what type of flowers.
Let's scope out how the flowers would happen, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also the size of the flowers.
Someone on YouTube is asking, is this all AI generated code? In fact, it is not. It was at one point, and this is again what Andrew was saying. I couldn't make sense of all of the code, so I deleted some of it. So I did go and like fix things up, and the AI originally didn't give me like really good comments, and so I did go back and like start adding, like as I figured out what was going on, I like started adding some comments, because I was really scared that we would live stream this and then people would ask me questions about it and then I wouldn't know what was going on with the code. And so
if that happened,
human review
generated.
Right.
And you've always just asked Duo in the moment, like, hey, what does this do? So and so in the comments wants to know what this does, and we could do that. But regardless, infinite seeds. Let's see.
Infinite seeds sounds dangerous.
I think, well, okay. Let's start with thinking about. So you have trees, right? But if we wanted to add flowers, I think it'd be fun to have like a way to make the flowers unique and really colorful, right? Because right now, like, there's a lot of green on the page. So what if we can get a whole bunch of splashes of different colors and shapes? That might be really exciting. So I'm thinking, like, what if the flowers themselves are based on the commits within like a repository? I'm not sure how you're getting information.
I don't want to.
What if we had the trees change in some way? Like they change leaves throughout the seasons. Then they can lose their leaves. Then they can grow a little bit.
But then you have to. But then you have to simulate seasons, and then you have to have
that
time fly by. So
now, you reminded me. So the original vibe coded project did have seasons, and I didn't agree with the way that had been implemented, because they had created like a seasons model, and so I removed all the seasons.
Ooh.
Because I was like, you're going way too far, and I don't know that I want seasons in my code.
Fair.
So, but yes, we could implement. I feel like seasons is too big scope for today, but we could put that in like the future notes.
I'm trying to think also how we could randomize the flowers. So I think what we should do is we should start by establishing a spec.
Like commit messages?
Right? Yes. Does anyone in the audience have a favorite type of flower they want us to specify in there? So comment any flowers you like. I like zinnias or tulips or.
Well, I definitely would just task a Duo with coming up with a list of
flowers
that it thinks it could draw. Flowers are fun, but I think it would be extra fun to see if it could draw SVGs of different flowers. Does it know what the different flowers even look like? That might be interesting.
I don't know.
The 5 that are recommended to you are, I mean, like, those are going to be the 5 in its visual data set.
Hang on, I'm going to go back to that search. Rose, tulip, sunflower, daisy, lavender.
Those are all distinct, like pretty different looking flowers.
They are.
Yeah. But they can all be like generated with CSS. Like the rose could be like a green stem with a red, and the tulip could be like orange. We could
Yeah.
designate
It's gonna use
colors to each one. Sorry?
It's going to use emojis probably.
It's going to.
It's using CSS, so it'll use like
guess that's
fill
true.
color. So like
Ooh.
we'll specify that roses are red and tulips are what color, Colleen?
I like blue or yellow.
Blue tulips. Okay.
They're kind of more violet.
Sunflowers are
with,
yellow.
Yeah, let's go with violet, and then sunflower will be yellow. And then what about daisy? White?
They're white. Yeah, they're white.
Yeah.
Let me name this file. It's giving me a hard time. Stop lint checking my MD file. Jeez.
Someone suggested snapdragons too.
Snapdragons? What color would that be? Like red?
No,
Pink?
aren't they like purple?
They can be purple. They can be any different color. Or not any different color, but
to be honest, any of these could be really any different color.
Okay, cool. Let's
lavender.
take the snapdragons. Build a garden like I am 5. I like that a lot. Is that Michael?
I think it's
Can
Michael.
we pull that up?
I'm gonna hit the pause button. I'm gonna hit the pause button. Let's like fully take a step back before we go down coded chaos and think about the scope of what we want to do here.
Yes,
so we want to add flowers to the contributor garden.
Flowers to the contributor's garden.
We have these different types of flowers we've identified, and we want the flowers to be based upon something from the commit messages. So what I think is every commit has a hash. And so that means every commit is unique. And that means that we have something that lets us create a unique flower for every commit. So what if this is the constraint for Duo. What if you create a system that takes maybe the first X characters of the hash of any commit and then turns it into like, it has these values, so it gets these size petals, it gets these color petals, it gets this kind of stem, it gets, basically use that to create generative flowers in the garden.
What if you do the first 6 characters of the commit hash and you find the closest hex color and then you match it to our flower type?
I love that. That sounds like really fun. I love that.
To the closest. I don't know how close commit messages hashes are to hex colors.
I think it could massage it. I'm looking at one right now and I'm like, the first 6 of this is a hex code.
Okay.
Like is valid hex.
One thing that I want to make sure we do is, so the way that the trees are implemented here is via the tree, like it has like a tree model. And then it like draws the trees based on that. And so I think it would be helpful if we implemented the flowers the same way and it doesn't go and like create a whole other thing.
I like that idea. So reusing the system.
Reuse the model system for trees. Okay.
I love this.
Ready to
go?
What
a great prompt. I think so.
Wait, we shouldn't say we want. We should say draw flowers based on... but we don't have commit message hashes.
Well, okay, so we need to tell it to get the commit history of this contributor garden repo.
Okay, use the commit history of the current Git repository.
Yeah, current repo.
Current repository. Okay. And then in the future, like maybe we are giving it like through the API, the user can like authenticate the application and then it uses your your like last 8 contributions. Why am I
a benefit of doing it this way is that for us to test it, let's say we need to debug it or fix some things with the flowers once it starts drawing them, because the commit messages
mad at me.
Won't change. It's effectively its own kind of test.
Hang on. I'm gonna refresh the sidebar.
Why? Do you do?
I didn't delete anything, so I don't know why it's freaking out, but it's working. It's just that this is sort of blocking the way a little bit.
Incredible.
Let's see. There we go. Okay, wait. I'll go back to the history. All right. I don't like when broken UI is in my way. So I'll help you add flowers. Let me start by explaining the project. It's taking a look at the list of commits. And then, is it still going?
It looks like you can reply, so maybe not.
Maybe not.
You can ask it. Are you done?
I'll just say continue.
I don't think it did anything.
Yeah, no, it wasn't.
Okay, now
I'm also like extremely zoomed in because of eyes.
Oh yeah.
So, like,
So like the
I
interface
appreciate
is
that.
all squished. Oh, okay. So we already got some flower types.
okay,
here.
so it made some
Oh.
decisions based on like the colors. So I didn't know that I had this. Whoa, that's very fancy. Hello.
Ooh.
Okay,
Thank you,
hex color
VS
picker
Code.
extension.
I know. Wait, I wanna. It's not done yet. Ooh, here's the
So let's.
calculation that we asked for.
Okay,
So
so this is
calculate the
cool. It's
flower type
taking the
based on
Okay,
the
it's working.
yeah, it's taking the commit, the hash, and then it's getting a
Okay.
substring, and then it's converting that to RGB, and then it's.
Oh, sorry,
And
it's not done yet, so it's jumping around. Let me go
No, I
back.
love it.
Go back to garden.js.
let's
Yeah, so
see
it's
there.
and then it's converting it to RGB, and then Euclidean distance. See, this is something
Well,
that we didn't
it's finding
specify
it's finding the closest flower color. So what
because
it's
it's
doing is
got
it's
to
matching
our
that
hex.
to the closest ones that you
Yes.
anchored as the colors. Okay.
Oh my god, that is
Interesting.
cool.
I kind of like that. Like it's doing the math for you. This is something that I find really cool about AI, where it's like if I had to think through this problem, like perhaps if I consulted with like a senior engineer, I would be like, oh yeah, a Euclidean distance. But like that wouldn't have been the first way. Like maybe I would have
No.
like matched manually, like if this hex code starts with this number, and like I'm now thinking about like algorithms class where I'm like, what is the best way to match these two strings of digits?
Yeah, this is an elegant solution for it.
Ooh,
I don't
someone
know.
just knew had a suggestion for us in the chat that I didn't see. Can we pull that up, please? The format of a Git hash is a 40 character hexadecimal, so taking the first 6 characters should work.
Yes.
Thank you for
Okay,
the pair
great.
programming.
Yes, that's
Woo!
what we're all on the same
For
page.
some
I love
reason, I
this.
had a good instinct. I cannot tell you that I like didn't know why.
So pausing for a second there was an interesting design decision that it made that we
Yes,
didn't
with the
explicitly give it.
server. Yeah.
Well, I was thinking more specific with the color matching, because we were thinking the color would be based upon the closest hex color of that commit message. But what it
Right.
did is it took the commit hash and it matched it, found the closest color in that color list, and used that to actually pick the flower that commit message
Wait,
is.
that's what I thought we were doing.
Yeah, no, I'm just like, it's interesting that it did it that way instead of using the.
Yeah, because we didn't exactly specify which flower
Yeah.
it should be.
We didn't
So-
we didn't explicitly say for it to arrange the parts in this way. So it was just interesting that it did.
Yeah,
I assumed that like it would find the hex color because I said in my thing, in my prompt, red, violet, yellow, white. So I assumed it would assign the default hexes for those colors, and then it would do some sort of matching to match the
to then find the
substring.
closest one to
Like,
those colors.
If,
Okay, I
if
like
like the
it.
hash was like FF692, then it would go in the F range and find Daisy because Daisy's close to white. But it is way mather than me, where now it's like plotting the hexadimensional and the commit hash, and it's like which two numbers are closest on the 2D plane, which I think is a really cool way to do this.
It's pretty elegant. They solved it with math. And still no dependencies. So
And then
okay,
it
Fatima, we
created the
got
flower
6
model.
minutes. Can you ship the
Okay.
flowers in 6 minutes?
So we got the flower model. We have the array of flowers. We added the event listener. What else did we do in this file? I see some green down here. Loading flowers from commit history via server API. That's a slight surprise to me.
What is it doing there? So it's fetch
API route.
It created an API route on your Express server to fetch the information. So it abstracted that function into an API because you set up an API server.
Because it assumed that I wanted that
because it assumed that you were going to want to build an API forward.
Eventually. Okay, that's fair.
Why not keep it? That seems.
But no, but it's doing a git log. I really like this though, because what we could do in the future is replace this with a call to the GitLab API and pull commits for the logged in user. And so like it's a good like future setup for us.
Well, that's kind of interesting there too, that it's executing a command there. That's kind of an interesting approach. So that once executing a git command, I don't know if that's what I want you to suggest for me. But it does get the job done. It does get the job done.
Okay, and then other than that, we also got the draw flower, which it's following the existing model, which was draw tree, and then sort of in the clear garden, updating. And these are the kinds of things, like, honestly, the kinds of things that I used to forget when I was like an engineer by myself, is like clearing out the thing that you built, or like deleting the history after like building a multi-step Ajax form. So I kind of like that. And
Yeah,
then at the
I agree.
end, it's just updating the game loop. I think it also made changes to the HTML file, because I see
Yeah, there's a plant
and
flowers
there's a
button.
plant flowers button. I think that this can be run locally.
Yeah, probably. Let's run it.
Okay, I think.
So
let me
do we
pull up
think that
my
we're going to be able to
terminal.
click that button, and each button's going to put down a unique
No, I don't
commit?
want to update
I
my
don't
terminal
know.
right now. Let me get my terminal going, and then I need to get my Python environment going.
What terminal do you use?
I'm using iTerm.
Oh, nice.
I love iTerm.
What is it's like source venv bin activate.
Sent source
right?
bin, yeah, bin activate.
Well, it's not working for some reason. I think it's in the README. Hang on. I always plant this for myself. No, it's not a Python project anymore.
Oh,
Don't
wow.
vibe code, ladies
Yeah,
and
because
gentlemen.
we have a package like JSON. We talked about that earlier. This is not
Yeah.
Python.
It's, you know why I'm thinking of Python? Like Jishnu will defend me in this, is because I was demoing a Python project earlier this week.
I just figured there was some part of
Yes.
this in Python I didn't know about.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna pull up now. Which one is the local host? Let me close this one, and then here it is. So this is the local host 8080. You can see that my browser is very upset that I'm in a local host, and there's a plant flowers, but they took away the grass.
Yeah, we
How
lost
did we lose
it.
the grass?
we got regressions, y'all.
Can we
Oh,
plant a tree
nothing's
first? Nothing's working?
Nothing's
Oh no.
working.
Okay, let's fix it.
What happened? What's in the console? Let's figure it
Invalid
out.
or unexpected token on garden.js. Hang on. Going back to the code window and to garden. Did I save everything? I did save everything. Yes. I think because I was getting really excited about the hex code, I messed this up. Okay. My bad.
That'll do it.
Problem exists between the keyboard and the chair.
PevTech. This was a classic PevTech.
Yeah. Just show my mug really quick.
What does that say?
Oh, it's backwards.
Artificial intelligence is no match for natural stupidity.
Whoa! That's
okay.
cool.
I'm gonna clear the garden and I'm gonna plant. Why is it planting like
so
9
pretty.
flowers? Oh, because it's just
Because there's
pulling the
9.
entire Git
Because it's
commit
pulling the
path.
Git commit history, and so
Really?
when you
Is
commit
there
this,
really 9 commits on this
so when you
project?
commit this, will there be 10 flowers?
Okay, let me do that while you're taking a look at the flowers.
I'm gonna look at the commit
Well, you can also
history.
plant trees still, which is kind of funny.
You can. They're the same size as the flat. We need to fix that. We need to work on some sort of scale.
So there are 13. There are 13 commits.
Okay, I'm gonna.
Are there giant trees? Are they giant trees or are they tiny flowers?
At the developer show. And I'm gonna push that commit. I really don't like pushing things without testing them, guys.
Well,
but I'm gonna push it for the science.
Well,
an audience, please feel free to jump in.
We're looking at 11 flowers, but there's 13 commits.
I need to rerun the server because I was committing.
No.
It's running. Why are you not running? Hello. npm install.
Also, if you've been watching us implement this flowers and you would implement them in a totally different way, that would be interesting to hear about. Or if you would have a different idea for using them. That'd be
Hang on, I'm gonna see what I did wrong in my terminal window. I am getting a terminal error. Do you want to take a look at this terminal error with me?
Yes.
I'm not excited about this.
A terminal error for what we just built?
Yeah, so I was running npm run dev earlier, and now I'm getting an error about because that's not the command on this I need to stop switching between projects. This is my primary issue because this one just needs npm start. Oops, I can't even spell start. There we go.
Can we highlight that comment? I love that comment.
Which comment?
It's Friday. Push directly to prod.
Kind of the the
It
vibe
was
of this
just
whole.
working. I don't know what's wrong.
Yeah. So Andrew, could we go back to what you were saying earlier about demos being easy?
Yeah.
Well, they are easy. It did work for a moment, and then we tried to deploy it. That's no longer a demo. That was that.
Can we also pull up? Did I save everything famous
AI
last
from demo to
words?
prod, taking AI from demo to prod is what's hard, and that's what we just tried to do in 4 minutes here. But we did build flowers, and I will say, whoever's behind the scenes of this can cut the clip of us all being at the same time when we saw the flowers for the first time, because that was a classic moment. So we did get that, even if
that was fun.
I could not tell you what is wrong with my localhost.
It's okay.
It's okay. It happened. We can move on. Don't worry.
It's running on live, and so when this pipeline passes, the flowers will be available on the show. And so while we're waiting for this to pass, and I think this takes about 3 minutes, I wanted to mention that like this project is meant to be built together. And so if you go to this repository, and we'll share a link to that, it worked in test. I love that. Can we pull up some of these comments?
That is the vibe.
I need that on a t-shirt. It worked in test.
It worked on my machine.
Worked on my machine.
We'll work on this. I think the other thing was we got really excited talking to Andrew about the things that he is working on that we didn't leave enough time for the live coding, but like I would love to have us do this again.
Fault.
Yeah, be less interesting, Andrew. Have you considered being boring?
Have you considered? But what we would love from our audience is sort of, you can open issues in this project. You can tell us what we should build. Someone said the ratio of our flowers was a bit off. Perhaps that's something we should have specified in the prompt itself, to be like, hey, like the flowers and trees are not supposed to be the same size. So like maybe we need them to scale. One thing that I'm realizing now is that like, my since we're going off plan here, and it gave me a whole thing where it was like, you can have these trees, you can have a tree type selector. Maybe I need to work with Planner and like update my plan for the site now that we're using flowers. And so that's something that if someone wants to run that for me. Oh no, it passed.
Oh no, it passed.
What if this is broken too?
Okay.
Oh, the flowers are not here.
We just have to cross all of our fingers.
Wait, there's only
and maybe
trees.
It'll work.
There's no flowers.
There's no flowers?
There's no flowers.
But I like flowers.
Me too. Did we pass? Did I actually commit
flowers?
correctly? I did
There's
commit.
flowers.
The flowers are there.
There's flowers are there.
Yeah, I see flowers.
And then the index
We can't see the garden.
file.
We don't see.
I know. I haven't opened the garden yet because I don't want to disappoint you. Is it still running? I thought it passed. Okay, sorry. The deploy to production hasn't passed yet. False alarm! We had a successful build. I really thought it was 2 check marks. Am I just tired?
I thought I saw it too.
It is 7 p.m. on a Friday for me.
Oh, well, thank you for spending your Friday evening with us.
It's also possible I didn't set up GCP correctly. But it looks like it is.
I have
deployed.
been there.
The person that usually sets this up for me is not available, so I gave it a shot with Duo, and it like worked. So I thought it would continue working. So yeah, let's wait and see. And then if this doesn't deploy in the time that we're here, what we could do is also share a link to it after the live stream, because I know we're keeping Andrew over time.
Yeah.
Oh, I see the check. I do think I saw the check mark earlier.
I think, yeah.
It just passed.
I'm gonna
It passed?
verify. Wait, I need to see it. Okay, I see it. I
gotta see it too.
You see it?
Do it?
Wait, plant flowers?
Nope, there's no
It doesn't
flowers.
do anything. It doesn't do anything.
Can we plant trees?
Oh, the API.
Because we need to deploy the API. It's
because it doesn't have access to the Git repo on the cloud.
It should have just been looking at the URL, so that when we
that's why it's saying commits are not available via API.
Yeah.
That makes sense though. If you're running like a git log executive command, like what are you gonna get?
Yeah,
from the
what
Google
environment?
Cloud
What
container?
environment would that have run in? You have to get that. We should.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's
because
fair.
browser. That's an easy
I don't know
fix.
why
Fast
it wasn't-
follow. Fast follow Fatima.
What are you saying? Like, oh, if you want to see this working, come back next
No,
week.
I think everyone in the comments, please fast follow Fatima. Please fix it. You got
Yes.
this. It's all good.
You've got this.
We can get a follow-up commit, but this has been a ton of fun. So thanks for letting me
I'm
build around in the garden
sweating.
with y'all.
This was so. Thanks for coming. Seriously, this has been a blast.
One of the
Ton of
things
fun.
I learned today is that when you want to prompt engineer, perhaps you should prepare the prompts ahead of time.
Live on the edge.
That's all the fun. We got to save the fun for the camera.
Yeah,
I'm
that sounds
pretty
good.
sure the
We'll definitely
audience
have to have
lives
you
for the
back.
drama.
I mean, based on their comments today, my favorite comment was definitely, "Did I save anything?" Famous last words. Did I save everything? Famous last. Because this happens to me a lot when I'm like vibe engineering, where it's like you want to make sure you save the state before you like change everything, like we just did.
Yeah, like before deploying it. So.
So yeah, thank you for joining us, Andrew. It's been like really great having you on the show. Honestly, like I wasn't feeling too well this week, and I was like, but it's Andrew. It's gonna be fantastic.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, so thanks for bringing your energy and your insights and telling our audience about all of the things you've been learning throughout the year from your amazing guests on Dev Interrupted. Is there anything you want to like shout out before we say goodbye?
Oh yeah, definitely be sure to follow Dev Interrupted. That way you can keep following all of these cool interviews with people that I do. I have an amazing lineup dropping at the beginning of the year, so don't miss it. We're doing lots of community growth stuff as well. So Dev Interrupted is a really cool community. Follow me on LinkedIn, please. I'd love to be your friend. And if we hung out here, definitely don't be a stranger, and I'll see you maybe at a future one.
Sounds great. I want to give a nice thank you to our production team, Jill, Olivia, and Marcus. They literally worked behind the scenes today to screen share when my restream refused to let me screen share. So I really appreciated that. That was like last minute support. And they worked really hard on all of this. Yeah. The next time we'll see you is in the new year in 2026. We would love to keep building on this project. I think live coding is a muscle that I have not exercised much. And so please bear with me as I figure this out. Please submit your features, ideas. I will share a link to the repository. If you can fix the problem with the flowers in a merge request, that would be great too. I wouldn't mind.
We'll
if
love
you
you forever.
Duo to do it.
Be our hero.
Add to our backlog. If you would like to be on the show, you can also open an issue for that because I'm always looking for pair programmers and for feedback. Well,
yeah, and if you fix it and then ask, ooh.
I mean, say less, Colleen. Yeah, so whether you're watching on LinkedIn, X, or YouTube today, thank you for joining us. Thank you for your ideas and for your enthusiasm in the chat. Thank you, Andrew, and our production team. And we will see you in 2026. Happy holidays if you celebrate. See you soon.
Thanks.